All right, so we're back. It's gonna be a short video because it's like 11:30, and we just suffered through Rings of Power and She-Hulk back to back.
Yeah.
Which was a really shitty way to end the day. So let's talk about this Little Mermaid remake. All right.
Shall we?
Well, yeah, I say we shall. So you
Okay.
hadn't seen this yet, apparently.
No, I have not seen. No, I haven't seen that.
Okay, so I'm not even going to bother looking for it because there was actually a couple of Twitter accounts that got banned because they created this AI version of Ariel. Basically, what happens is we both know that Chinese people don't really care for dark-skinned people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there was a person in China who created a basically deepfake AI video of Ariel, and it was literally like it sang along, it moved the mouth at the same time as the actress Halle Bailey did.
Uh-huh.
And so basically they said, yes, within 24 hours of the movie releasing, they will literally have this replacing her in like a deep faked version of the movie.
Wow.
Yeah. Pretty spicy.
Oh my gosh.
So again, I don't agree with that, but it is kind of funny. I think they just should have... It's this forced diversity where they use the diversity as a shield because they know that people are sick and tired of the live action movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, so like this picture here. Aesthetically, if you look at the two, obviously this is done by AI.
Mm-hmm.
Which one aesthetically looks better?
Well, the bottom one.
The bottom one, of course,
Yeah.
because people can't look as good in person or on film as an AI-generated person can.
Right.
That's kind of a no-brainer. But like above and beyond that, it's the fact that it goes back to what you grew up seeing.
Mm-hmm.
And again, there's the whole conversation about it's a Danish folklore and it's completely different, and Ariel kills herself in the story. But it goes back to the point that A, live action movies never are as good as the cartoon, and B, you're literally only deviating from the source material in this aspect to try to like use the diversity as a shield because you know the movie's gonna suck.
Exactly, because you can't accomplish the same thing that was in a cartoon.
No, it never works.
In a live action.
Look what happened with Cowboy Bebop, and I don't even care because I'm not an anime fan, but when you compare, like when we watch Pokemon with the kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to see the way that Ash and his friends are acting on a human being's face.
No, oh gosh, no.
He's like all expressive and screaming. It's like, this would not work on a human being's face.
No, never.
There are some things that just don't work.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of the cartoons is you can make these characters do whatever and look however, and then you try to put that on a human being, and it's going to fall short.
Live. Hang on. This might still... You see the face movement? I'm going to mute that in case copyright claimed. Look. So it's kind of grainy, I know.
Yeah.
But let me just replay it. So yeah, top one is AI generated. Pretty freaky, right?
Wow. And they're still going to release it in China.
Well, this was created by the Chinese, the guy that modded it, that did the deep fake, basically, because Chinese people are known to not like black people.
Right, and you know that's probably going to happen.
That's exactly the reason they did it. We look at it because culturally we go, well, we just are sick and tired of characters getting blackwashed or whatever you want to call it for diversity's sake. Rather than creating or embracing good black characters, you take an existing character and you go, okay, well now Ariel's black. And it's like, if it was any other race, you would have a problem with it. If they did the live action Mulan and made it a like a Native American or an Indian person instead of a Chinese person, you'd go, what the hell?
Right.
Because it's completely, it goes against what makes sense. It's kind of like the idea of, we just watched the Rings of Power episode where they show Queen Regent, whatever her face is, her dad. And her dad is white and she's like black. And you go, whether or not you want to go, okay, the movie should have diversity and should have other characters of different ethnicities, fine. But you should at least have the characters that are supposed to be procreating and having children, at least their skin tones should match. Mm-hmm. Like, this doesn't even... genetically, this doesn't make sense.
No.
This is like that senator from decades ago that was born white to a black family. You go, whoa, how does this happen, you know?
Right.
And it's like freaked them out. They were like, oh, you cheated on me. No, literally the guy was white and he came from two black parents. It just was a genetic anomaly.
Mm-hmm.
So this just goes, again, hand in hand with the idea that they're going to have diversity as a shield for the overall changing of the message of the story, because they've already said that the new Little Mermaid and the Snow White movie that we haven't even seen yet, that their stars have said that the modern characters won't be defined by needing a man's love. Which
is literally the premise of the movie.
I mean,
on both of them.
You could make the stretch that Ariel, that it's more than about finding a man, but it's about, breaking away from her family and going up places they've never been and this and that. But literally, in her little hormonal 16-year-old brain, she sees Eric. He's gorgeous. He's a sailor. He's on a boat. They're singing. They're dancing. They're doing all these things that they don't do in the ocean. And she falls in love with not just the idea of it, but the idea of him doing all those things with her.
Right.
At least that...
She got herself into a mess, but she still needed him to get out of it.
Well, yeah, I mean, and she wasn't completely helpless, but, it's like, yes, it still definitely fell back on the man having to save her. Okay. I mean, they also showed a man sacrificing himself to not have her be one of Ursula's little plant minion guys. I mean, her father gave himself up for her.
Right.
Isn't that supposed to be noble and, like, the ideal of what parents would do for their kids? I mean, your kid fucks up and you're still there to save him.
Right.
I don't know. So, yeah, basically, I think the root of all of this with the remakes is just the fact that they want to appeal to a modern audience and take these classics and you make them a cash grab, and they still are falling prey to the idea that people on Twitter, that the woke ideas of don't need no man and this, like all that crap, that's somehow going to generate revenue.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not. And we have 3 kids. Do they watch the live remakes or do they watch the cartoons?
They've watched a couple of the live remakes, but they don't even, like, they just skim right past them.
I don't
think they love
like
all
them.
The classics. No.
So we just had this complete disaster with Pinocchio, which it just goes hand in hand. It's like it happened at the worst possible time for Disney, because right when we had this Pinocchio disaster, then they released the trailer for Little Mermaid. It's like you guys could have really timed that better, because this Pinocchio movie, from what I've seen, is the biggest shit show on the planet. Now, look, I don't know who this person is. I don't want to be mean, but the way that they portrayed the Blue Fairy in Pinocchio was just frightening. I mean, the kind of thing that gives you nightmares. And I read through this article. I don't know if you've actually basically, like, I don't know if you know the summary of the movie. But once again, like Little Mermaid, they changed Pinocchio's story to literally paint. So here's the short version of it. Geppetto, I guess, had a son who died, and he's trying to replace him with a wooden boy. Pretty screwed up. The Blue Fairy, something happens where she basically gives up on her spell halfway through, and she leaves it on Pinocchio to finish it himself, and she basically walks out.
Oh my gosh.
The fox character seduces him to be famous, tells him he's an influencer. Okay? Modern terminology. You know that where's this dude at? Let's see. Stromboli, the puppeteer. He has Fabiana, who apparently is like a racially ethnic girl with a prosthetic leg who works for him, kind of like a slave.
Okay.
This guy basically sums it up as, basically, she is a union leader who reminds us of the importance of the Marxist class struggle and the inherent evil of employers.
Oh my God.
That's basically what they're projecting with this movie. It's nothing at all about a wooden boy fighting through his troubles and struggles to become a real boy because his master just wants to have a son, and it's this
right,
great...
because Geppetto never had a son.
No, this is
literally...
Which was
the point of making Pinocchio.
This is literally like the worst interpretation of a classic tale ever.
Okay, I kind of want to watch it now, though.
Oh, I don't. You have to watch it on your own. I can't suffer through it. But, like, when you go through the list of remakes, they have remade everything possible. First off, I don't understand why Maleficent or any other villain like Cruella, this list of top best to worst, 20 remakes, live actions, has Cruella at like number 3. I have nothing against Margot Robbie. I think she's basically a typecast at this point. She only has one character.
Hang on, for Cruella?
She played Cruella.
No, that was Emma Stone.
No, I thought that was Margot Robbie.
No, that was Emma Stone.
Are you seriously?
100% positive.
Let's go to the picture.
That's Emma Stone.
Good God, that could have been Margot Robbie.
I know.
For a second there, I thought it was.
Yeah.
Well, again, to my point, that is literally like the embodiment of Harley Quinn right there, just as Cruella de Vil. I look at that and I see Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
I don't see Cruella de Vil. You go to the 101 Dalmatians, which was actually not terrible. And
no, those were okay.
The first one was fine.
Yeah.
That was, but they got Glenn Close to play Cruella de Vil.
When she's the perfect villain.
She is literally
any
like
movie that she's a villain. She's
the real life
amazing.
version of her.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, they have at the top of the list this Cinderella movie, which I never saw. I'm, whatever. But that's not to say that they can't do good live action. I mean, you were saying that this movie from 97 was really good. I've never watched it.
Oh, it was amazing.
So aside from the casting, because of course Whitney Houston was amazing.
Right.
This is back in the late 90s, and you never once heard a peep about diversity, representation.
No, they just made it with good actors. Brandy can sing. So all the music was great. All the acting was great. It was more like a made-for-TV type, if I remember
Jason
correctly.
Alexander.
And it was just good. There was no hidden message. There was no,
Okay, so let me ask you. That being said, did it at least pay respect to the idea of the story?
Yeah.
The rags to riches, she falls in love with the guy at the ball, and all of a sudden her life is magically better. Like, this is exactly my point. Plenty of diversity in that movie. Well back before, it was like PC to be like, oh, we're going to have, multicultural, ethnic, diverse casts, and we're going to just shove it in those racist faces and blah, blah. This was back in a time when you would have thought people were like really racist and nobody was like, watching what they said.
I was so young, I don't know if there was media backlash. I don't remember ever hearing anything negative about it.
Well, let me ask you, did your white family have a problem watching the movie?
No.
There you go. This was the days before Twitter. Honest to God, the problem with modern day social media, the biggest racists on the planet are the anti-racists because all they focus on is race. If you put out a good product, a good movie, a good story, and it pays respect to the source material, just like how Rings of Power isn't, if it pays respect to the story and doesn't paint it in a way that goes, well, okay, that story, that's fine, but it's problematic because X, Y, and Z, so we got to change it.
Right.
I don't think anyone really cares about race when it's all said and done.
No, it's just make a good movie.
Make a good story.
Have talent.
And yeah, I feel a little bad for this actress because of all the backlash she's getting. I'm not going to comment on looks or whatever because that's just not the point. But I will say people who go, well, don't hate the actress for taking the role. I have a big problem with the idea of don't fault the actress for taking the role. Look, Michael B. Jordan. I keep getting mixed up with him and Michael Jordan. Michael B. Jordan. They offered him. Somebody said, we would love it if you played Superman. And he's like, look, I don't want to just take a role that exists and play it as a black man. I think, no disrespect to anybody who takes the role, I want to do something original. And kudos to that man because in my opinion, he was kind of unbearable in Black Panther. Everyone loved him as a villain. They thought that he was like the best villain in the Avengers movies, Phase 3, whatever. But I thought his acting was a bit cringe, like really bad.
I like him though.
But I like him.
Yeah.
And I like what he said. I respect that idea that, look, I'm not going to be okay being the diversity cast.
Right.
Just so you guys can put a black face on an existing character.
Right, and she's actually really talented. She can sing.
Well, yeah, I don't like that style of singing. You know this. I'm not a Mariah Carey fan or Beyonce. It's just not my thing. But whatever. Nothing against her or her singing. It just
sucks for her that, I get what you're saying, but it's like...
Well, it sucks that Disney's using her as a shield.
Exactly.
And to the point of not adapting cartoons to live action, this right here is exactly why.
Yeah.
This is not a real person's face. This is animated, basically.
Yeah.
So why not just let animation stay at that? Stop trying to take animation and put it in front of a camera and say, oh, look, we're going to take a real person and they're going to play an animated character. It doesn't work.
Well, and everything underwater... obviously is going to be CG.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You're just going to be watching a video game the whole time.
I'm dreading seeing Flounder and Sebastian.
Right.
Oh my God, they're going to look terrible.
Awful.
Oh. All right, well, I think that sums it up, though. Not a whole lot else to say about that.
And that's why it's Minimal Effort Podcast.
I know. Are you ready for the little shill? Are you ready for it?
What's a shill?
Well, if you enjoyed the podcast, feel free to like and subscribe, share the video. You see that little subscribe button that popped up? And you missed it. You missed it completely. We're going to do it one more time just for you. And there it is. Click like and subscribe. You can't see it. I can't. You can't see it. Oh, I feel so sorry for you. You'll have to go back and watch it later.
Over.
All right. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it.
Bye, guys.